Welcome to A Bit of Board Games, a casual podcast documenting the many failures and hopefully successes of Waffle Games, as we learn the ins and outs of board game design and self-publishing. Join us on this journey as we talk about a bit of life, a bit of design, and a bit of board games. Welcome back to another episode of A Bit of Board Games. This is episode 84, and today is November 28th, 2023. And just like that, another month has gone by, and November is done. So there you go. By the time this comes out, it'll be December for all you listeners, or later, depending on when you listen to this. But Thanksgiving is over. It's the official Christmas season start now. I mean, mine started a month ago, but it's been a good time.
Yep.
How are you doing? How's your Thanksgiving? Oh yeah, I'm Steven, game designer at Waffle Games, and with us is Ralph here, art director, game designer. How's your Thanksgiving? How are you doing? What's up?
Well, Thanksgiving is always a whirlwind. If you caught last episode, then you know that Katie and I we split the day between her family and mine, since we both live, since both our parents live kind of close by. So that's what we did. And we did end up going Black Friday shopping, and then a bunch of
where do you
church events and stuff on Sunday. So it's been crazy.
What are your go-to places for Black Friday shopping?
Really, we go to be out. We don't actually go for any real reason. We don't go for the sales. We don't go for... It's just like a tradition. We just go to have fun. But the usual places we hit are, I guess, Kohl's usually does some kind of sale. There's a Kohl's near here, and it does some kind of sale. And then we go to our sad little mall and walk around.
Crossroads?
Yeah.
Okay. Just had to make sure I remembered what it was still called.
Yeah. And we'll hit I don't know, pennies. That's it. That's actually this. Yeah.
Does the mall still look like exactly the same as when we grew up?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. A couple stores have swapped out with something else, something newer,
Okay.
But for the most part, it's the same. Really, not much has changed.
Yeah. It has been many years since I was back there in West Virginia. It's been a while.
Yeah, there's some stuff that changes every once in a while, but for the most part, things just stay the same. But like I was saying, really the reason we go out is just to go and do something.
Yeah.
And then we come back and watch a movie, relax for the rest of the day.
Nice. We're mostly low key here. My sister came over and we did our appetizers, our Appsgiving thing. So just instead of a Thanksgiving dinner, just did appetizers throughout the day, which was a lot of fun. And easier than cooking a turkey for 3 adults and 2 children. So
True.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what we did, but there's that. There was played some board games. Oh, we got a new video game on our Switch. Overcooked 2. Have you ever played Overcooked?
I know what it is, but I've never played it.
It's crazy, dude. It's really fun, but it's just hectic. We Olivia's been wanting to play it every night because it's been a lot of fun. And so for those of you who don't know, Overcooked is a video game where you play as chefs in different environmental kitchens and stuff. So there's the general premise is there's a kitchen and you are chefs trying to cook and fulfill orders. So some of the items will be in boxes. There's ingredient boxes. So you have to grab the ingredient, bring it to a cutting board, chop it up, bring it to a frying pan or a plate depending on what kind of food it is, or if it's rice, you have to cook the rice, and you essentially combine the ingredients of the order onto a plate, deliver that plate to the customer or whatever at like the delivery zone, and you get points. And like there's timers on these orders, so they can time out and you get penalties if you miss an order, or you'll get less tip if you take too long with it as well. So then you'll never finish all the orders because they just come like nonstop, but you have a time limit. So you're trying to get as many as you can to get a bunch of points for that. But the kicker is that like each level uses it's not always different, like a different menu, but a lot of the levels have different menus. So like one of them you might be making burgers. So you have to put a bun on a plate. You have to get steak or beef, whatever, cut it on the cutting board, cook it in a frying pan, and then put it on the burger. But some burgers have cheese. Some burgers have lettuce and tomato. Some burgers are lettuce and cheese. So you have to like combine the right things to do this. And it's really like hectic because you're bumping into each other. And the levels get hard because like sometimes the kitchens are on these like two separate rafts and they'll like move. And so you might have a path that you've been taking and then all of a sudden you can't take that path anymore because it's not connected. Or you fall in the water. It's just like crazy environmental stuff all the time, which just makes it even more hectic, which is part of the fun, but it's just like a stressful kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, I've realized why I've heard of it is because it's actually on Game Pass.
Oh, so, is it really?
Yeah. It was. I just looked it up.
Nice. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You guys should. You and Katie should try it. It was on sale on Steam or on Switch for like $7. So I bought it, and all the DLC was like $2 each. So I just bought all the DLC because it was like campfire maps and the hangry horde.
Oh, nice.
That you are feeding the unbread.
Zombie mode, yeah.
Yeah, it's like these zombie slices of bread. It's pretty funny.
Well, speaking of video games and the holidays, today while I was working, I turned on this. There's this game for the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for the PlayStation 1. And it has an absolutely fantastic soundtrack. And it's kind of like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like there are some tracks that sound really Christmassy and whimsical and just like really peaceful, killer soundtrack. And so I listened to that today while I worked. And the composer, it's no wonder it's so good. The composer is Jeremy Soule, who, if you know, did the music for like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. And so he's obviously a good composer, but he has a really there's this video on YouTube where it's like Christmassy sounding Harry Potter PlayStation 1 video game music. It's just it just plays. It's really weird.
I know I need this in my life,
but yeah, I'll send you a link.
Okay, yeah, that works. I was gonna look it up.
It also plays like it shows little Christmassy scenes from the game.
Oh, nice.
And the game is very moody, atmospheric.
My wife grew up. She played those early Harry Potter games.
Yeah. The graphics are notably hilarious and charming. Like, because the PlayStation 1 had this like horrible aliasing thing. It didn't do very well with 3D like models in some sense. And the Harry Potter game specifically, the first one was a port that had kind of issues with graphics, but in my opinion, it only makes the game more atmospheric and more charming because of that. So yeah, I'll send you this video.
Did you have the PlayStation 1 growing up? I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember you had a PlayStation 2, and I couldn't remember if you had the one before that.
Yep, I was a PlayStation guy. So I had the PlayStation 1 was my first console.
Okay.
And first ever game. I remember my first ever game that I got for Christmas, I think, was Crash Bandicoot Warped,
Mm,
which was awesome.
nice.
It's a really good first game to to have as a kid.
I feel
Super
like
fun.
didn't they remake or like not remake?
They did. They
Yeah,
they remade all new graphics. Same. It's. I mean, they. Um, I forget the studio crap, but it doesn't. It
Rare.
doesn't matter. But
Was it
like,
Rare?
no, Rare didn't do it. It
Oh,
was
I just saw these recently.
Blue. Crap. Yeah, I don't.
Blue
I could
Sky.
easily look it up. I could easily look it up, but
Yeah.
but I don't remember. But anyways, they remade it, they remastered it, or I don't know what you would call it. They all new graphics, graphical
Okay.
overhaul, but it plays exactly the same, or it's supposed to. There are some slight differences. If you're super familiar with the old games, they've done some things to that are arguably better or worse depending on which game you like. But yeah, they did the whole first three in what
That's
did
right.
they call it? The Insane Trilogy. That's what it was.
I
They did
remember.
the same with the Spyro trilogy as well. The original
Yeah,
Spyro.
dude, that was like that was the one game that I was always jealous of people who had PlayStation was Spyro. Like I always wanted
Man,
to play Spyro, and I've had chances since then. Like I remember playing through one of them a long time ago.
yeah,
Um, I never beat any because I didn't ever own it. But I probably played some at your house or I think
it's
Wes.
available for the Switch.
I'll
All
have
the
to,
all the
I'll have to
all
look
the
into that.
Spyros. Yeah, and the Crash one, the Insane Trilogy, and the Reignited Trilogy, I think is what they called the Spyro one. And I highly recommend both. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you're interested in Spyro, man, they're so much fun.
yeah.
And if you're a completionist, they're a joy to
Oh, nice.
complete because it's not too crazy of a time commitment. It's super satisfying just to like 100% everything.
Did you ever play
Super.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger?
I did at your house.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. It was
with the
like,
boomerangs.
yeah, dude, it was a similar like 3D adventure platformer type game. Which
Yeah.
is like I loved those growing up. But
Oh yeah.
I can't remember like what other ones. I guess Super Mario 64 is probably one of the first ones that existed and that I played. Um, but I do remember playing it through all that one. But then yeah, on Xbox I had Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, which was incredible game. Same kind of thing with like random things around in this 3D world. You have to go to these different regions. You collect random things throughout the levels. You upgrade your boomerangs, which give you different abilities. And there's like this like exploding one. I don't know, dude. There's some crazy stuff. It was so much fun to play. And I think there's like 3 of them now. Like
There are.
I think
I think they made 3, yeah.
I think I only played through the first 2. And then I saw at one point like I think they were all on Steam.
Yeah.
Maybe I even
Maybe. Yeah,
bought them.
yeah, maybe.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
GOG might have them.
There's 4, dude.
Okay.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and then 2, 3, and 4. And then there's a
Yeah.
collection with all of them. The Boomerang
If you
collection.
were if you were into platformers, though, I would say PlayStation did quite the job. Like
Yeah,
they had
they did.
Spyro, Crash.
That's
They
why I was
had
always
Sly
jealous.
Cooper. Yeah, I mean Sly Cooper is another wonderful
Ratchet and Clank.
trilogy. Ratchet and Clank, exactly. Jack and Daxter. A lot of people like the.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get super into those, but those were not bad. I have played a little bit of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought they had really solid platformers.
Yeah, that's like those were always so much fun for me. And like well, I had Xbox. Well, so we had Sega Genesis, which I still have. So I played a lot of like Sonic the Hedgehog. The Aladdin game on Sega was so good.
Oh yeah.
It was hard, but there's like some code
Yeah.
you could like pause it and then do like A B over and over again and like skip the level. So
Cheat code to not play the game.
right. Well, like because if you get a game over, you have to start over. So it's like okay, well, I want to
know.
experience all the levels. So
Yeah.
And then dude, we had I think the one I remember playing most with my brothers and maybe my sister too, was this like Ninja Turtles. I can't remember what it was called, like TMNT tournament or something. And so it was like a fighting game. It's like a Mortal Kombat style game, but Ninja Turtles. And so it's just like the two people on the screen like fighting, and you can fight the other turtles, and there's like dark versions of the turtles or something too. And there's kind of a story where you like fight through the different people to the end, and like that game got hard, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like some weirder ones were like Glover.
Oh, dude, I freaking loved Glover.
Really weird. And like
I had that one I had Croc 2 on PC. I loved that game.
Which interesting tie-in to amazingly something. Croc, the original at least. I don't remember if Croc 2 had the same developer, but was developed by the same people who did the PlayStation 1 port of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So.
full circle on the games here.
Yeah.
Man. All right, we need to make all of these 3D adventure platform games into board games.
Yeah.
Now, so that's our next challenge. I feel like it just wouldn't have the same effect.
Glover specifically has, well, I mean, if it's just a platformer like Spyro, yeah, that'd be pretty hard to.
Yeah.
But like Glover had really weird mechanics. Like
it did, man.
You could turn the ball into different types of balls, like the crystal one, and you get extra points because it's dangerous. It'll shatter if you knock it around too bad. And you could turn it into a bowling ball for attacks. You could turn it into a baseball for some reason. Like there was a lot of stuff. That was such a strange game, but
I don't remember a lot about it. I remember having it on N64 and I played it a bunch. Man, it's just like all these like memories are coming back as we're talking through all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's good times. We're not a video game podcast that I say every other time, but okay. Well, we're now that we're well into this episode, this probably is going to be a little bit shorter episode. Because I am exhausted, and I'm sure Ralph is also tired, just with craziness of work. You know, 'tis the season to be joyful for Christmas, but also 'tis the season for work to be crazy for our jobs, at least.
Yeah.
So it's been some long nights and some long days, and my brain is fried. I don't know how to do anything, or I don't do. There was a time today I was just like staring at my computer screen. I'm just like, I don't know what to do right now. The feeling of like having a lot to do, but not knowing where to go. And I was like wrapping up part of one project, but the idea of like starting another project was so daunting. I'm just like, I don't even know how to like transition my brain over to another project right now. But we'll get there.
Turn on that video I sent you, and it'll soothe you. And
well, so I listen to like Christmas chill hop sometimes, or like lo-fi Christmas, different lo-fi stuff a lot. And today I was just listening to just like a random Christmas music, and I got kind of tired of that, and so I went back to normal playlists. But I saw 21 Pilots is one of my favorite bands, and I saw them post the other day that one of their like producers or someone created a I don't know how long, something on YouTube, but like a long like 21 Pilots like chill like lo-fi kind of thing, that just like for background music, and so it's kind of got like 21 Pilots vibes like with some of their songs, but it's all just that chill instrumental type thing, whatever. I don't know, I haven't listened to it yet, so I've been meaning to. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, just to check it out. But what are some of your go-tos like to listen to while you're like working during the day? Do you listen to music most of the time?
If I listen to music while I'm working my 9 to 5, I do tend to go for something more chill, maybe a video game soundtrack or something like that. I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, I know examples like old Well, there's the Harry Potter soundtrack. There's old like Nintendo music that's been remixed in a certain way. Sometimes I'll listen to that. Like Zelda has a great soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Usually, most of the games. Kingdom Hearts has great music. I'll listen to that sometimes. 1 and 2.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So I've got a record player, and for those of you not watching, I have this album. Yeah. It's Zelda and Chill, and there's like 3 albums of like Zelda and Chill 1, 2, and 3, and they're so good. Yeah. It's like lo-fi Zelda music, and it's my favorite. So
yeah. So I mean, while I'm working, like I said, my 9 to 5, I will go for something way more laid back, and I don't usually listen to real bands. It's like, it's just like something
background stuff
to get me in. Yeah, background, exactly. Somewhat ambient with a slight melody, I guess. And then yeah, like outside of work, I mean, my music taste is so freaking it's weird. I listen to a lot of weird stuff.
I listen to a lot of variety of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty depends on the mood I'm in, but
yeah. I would name drop a few things, but people might start to question my mental health.
I mean, I think after the many horror episodes we've talked about horror games and stuff. Yeah, I think
one artist that would be fine. No one would care necessarily. I do like Joji. I like Joji. He's good.
I don't know.
He does like I don't know what you would call it. Like calling it anything doesn't really do it justice. He's just a good artist who makes pretty good music that sounds somewhat depressing, but is also like good beats. And you know, it's pretty easy to listen to, and he's really pretty talented too.
How do you spell
and
that?
He's got a great backstory. If you look into that, it's very fascinating.
Just Joji.
Yeah, he's good.
I'll check it out. Cool. All right.
Not all of his stuff, but I would say from his Nectar album onward, it's all pretty good. But Ballads has a couple great songs as well.
Cool. So Foundry.
Well, I did say last week that because of the holidays, might be hard to make progress, and in my case, that ended up being true. I haven't, unfortunately, been able to do too much over this weekend.
That's totally fine. We got a lot going on. We need to relax too. Well, I mean, I guess it's not relaxing if you're doing stuff constantly, but at least take a break a little bit. I was able to sketch some.
Oh, good.
I sent you the companion like concept that I did. And
yes.
So because I was like, dude, that's just one that's just been like lingering where we're like, we don't even know what these are going to look like. And so it was a hard process getting it started. But then once I did, I feel like I've got at least a good direction for where they're going to go. Like the thing I drew, the companion I drew, it's a very flat drawing and like front on flat. There's no depth. There's no perspective. It's just kind of like, it's very flat. So I want to like that gets me into the idea of it, but I need to draw it like at a bit of an angle to match other stuff we have. But then also so you can get the entirety of what that character is and like see the whole shape and like everything of it. So I'm gonna work on that next. But yeah, I completely sketched out a version of Slugger, a little melee companion, and then I had a couple drafts on Defender, the little basic armor companion, and then I very, very roughly drew out Mortar and his thing. So I'd say that's pretty good progress especially for companions when we had zero direction on those. But
yeah,
do you like kind of the styling I'm going with, like the idea of like their face head piece that's like kind of gonna match throughout all of them.
Yeah, I like that. I think that will help kind of bring them together, and it doesn't just feel like each companion is just a completely isolated art style, instead they have reoccurring elements. I think that's smart, especially in the face area,
Yeah. My thought was that like when the people are making these companions, it's almost like it's not like an assembly line like that these artificers were creating these, but there's like different core components to the companion. So like the main head face piece like shape, that whole part of it, maybe that's like a piece that like people can craft a bunch of. So those are all just like in the blueprints in the forge. People, there's like different options. So like that's like the core of the companion essentially, and like where they're powered from. Maybe there's like shade energy inside that goes everywhere else. So then that way it's like this is the main structural piece. This like head piece is the main piece of the companion. And then people created all kinds of versions of companions with other weapons, tools, gear around, and kind of like forged them together on that. So that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, I think that idea works. Yeah, I think that'll work. It'll help ground them, and I think the reoccurring that will help. People will begin to recognize that and know at a glance, oh, this is definitely a companion.
Yeah.
That I'm looking at. Quickly you'll see a card and know immediately this is a companion.
Right. It'd be very, very different all around.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Are you seeing your brother-in-law at Christmas? Are you guys gonna play any new board games or anything?
Well, he was in for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Did you guys? And we did not play a board game. We did a puzzle, but all of us did. There was a puzzle that we kind of went back. We would do some of it.
Nice.
Leave it alone. Come back later. Put some more of it together. But they will come in. Not Christmas. They'll be in town a little bit after Christmas because they're doing Christmas with his family this year. So they'll be in though after that. And we might, maybe. He usually brings some board games with him wherever he goes. Or card games.
Your assignment is to at least play one new board game. So you have to coordinate that with him.
Okay, one new board game.
Yeah. To get something else under your belt.
Yeah, I can tell him that ahead of time and say, hey, bring some good options.
Yeah, don't bring bad options. Yeah. They better be at least as good as Foundry. So he doesn't know anything about it, and so he can't judge that very well, but it has to be at least as good as Foundry. Yeah, I need to go and update Tabletop Simulator still. So because I want to play test. We're not gonna play test in December. I know that was a goal of like getting on there and play testing, but there is zero time. Just looking at my schedule, like everything going on with work and then family. Like my parents come into town tomorrow. They're visiting. Then I'm taking some days off, Friday and Monday, so I'm making it a long weekend. And then Wednesday they fly out. I fly out with them to Chicago for a work trip, and then for like 2 days. Then I come home. I'm home for like a week and a half, and then we fly back to Chicago for Christmas to visit Libby's family out there, and then we'll come back, and then it's January. So, yeah, that's not happening.
Busy time.
Yeah, the one thing I can easily do on the game is sketch and get concepts out for items and companions, because it doesn't take a lot of effort to like. I mean, it's effort to sketch and stuff, but it's more of like a fun creative outlet. Whereas sometimes like the stats of the game and everything there gets tedious and tiring to just like stare at numbers or think through problem solving aspects of that when I'm also been doing that at work, trying to solve problems for different things. So
yeah,
it can be a lot, but
yeah, work a different part of your brain.
Right.
I think
like sketching is just more artistic rather than designing, which those are very different. The art versus the design side of things. I posted a reel and a short about that not too long ago. Oh jeez. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Speaking of that stuff, I posted another one today, which is pretty good. So everyone listening, if you haven't heard any of our Instagram reels or shorts on YouTube, you should go look at them, because they're some like small clips from our podcast and some words of wisdom from Ralph and I. It's just a good time. I feel like they're pretty solid nuggets of there. But it would help to go listen to some of those and check them out at Waffle Games on YouTube, and then at Waffle Games for Instagram. And our last one got like over 200 some views on YouTube. And
which one?
The art, I think it was the art versus design one that we were just talking about.
Oh, really?
And it, like every single one of them has gotten like 300 plays on Instagram.
Wow.
But then, and dude, okay, so our podcast, this podcast that we're recording right now, A Bit of Board Games by Waffle Games, episode 83, this podcast, we had our most downloads this month of any month. This is the highest downloaded month, dude. Like over
That's crazy, dude.
520 some downloads this month. Which our previous best was 460. So almost 100. It keeps going up. So we'll see where we land, but we're pretty close to 6,000 downloads now, which I know we hit the 5K mark not too long ago.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, great
to have you.
Thanks for being here, everyone. Just listen to this podcast and us ramble on. We're kind of a board game podcast. That's why it's called A Bit of Board Games, because we only talk about board games a little bit. The rest is just kind of whatever else is happening. But
life, I would say it's a combination of life, video games, certainly, yeah. And then board games.
Yeah, we don't really talk about board games except for what we're working on for our board game. We're definitely closer to just a video game podcast who also design board games.
Yeah, and then also, we speak more in depth about design, I would say, and artwork.
We've got a lot of stuff about art and design in a lot of our episodes, because that's like the areas we're in, and so that's what we know. So we're involved. It makes sense. Yeah, and so that's the podcast that you're into. I'm glad you're here, and tell other people and give us ratings and thumbs up and all that. So yep. Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
We have to get back to work.
Yeah, but really. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, everyone. I don't know how I close these out anymore, but if you want to get up to date on what we're doing, you can find a link to our Discord at bitwafflegames.com, as well as a link to all of our socials there. I've been posting stuff on Instagram, on YouTube, all that good stuff. And it's almost time for our monthly newsletter to come out too. You can put your email in at bitwafflegames.com to get our monthly newsletter with kind of recap of what we accomplished that month. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
Bye.